Agro, currently witness 9 on the Steem blockchain. It is my pleasure to bring to you the Peace Academy tonight, June 2nd, 2018, with two guests this evening. The lovely Azaria, who is my standard guest and co host for the show, and then also her husband, senior moderator of the Nina Support Project, an all around good guy, often going by the name Kevin, despite his name being Shane, and being Swelker 101, a witness on the Steem blockchain. How are you guys doing?
I am moderately fantastic. Moderately.
I am somewhat fantastic. I suppose moderately fantastic is accurate. And how are you, Aggroed?
I think
no, I did. I'm doing a whole bunch of horrible things all at once. I had you guys on speaker, which was causing a feedback, which was causing an echo. I've done everything horrible. I couldn't have been worse for this show right now.
But were you able to put your shirt on?
Yeah, I got my shirt on. You can see I got my undershirt on. Okay, so we're going to talk about a couple things.
Is there an echo in here?
The echo was my fault. The echo was that I was playing your sounds on a normal speaker, and it was going into my mic, and it was causing audio issues. And now it should be okay. And what we're going to talk about this evening, it's going to be a mix of some Steem monsters, a little bit of like weird conspiracy, and probably some abundance, because we got some shit to be thankful for here, and answering a couple questions. So what I want to start with is just telling you how freaking fortunate I think that we are. I started Steem Monsters 7 days ago, and so far we've sold 13,134 Steem dollars worth of Steem Monsters, and in addition to that, it's just shy of 6,000 Steem. Looking at today's prices, this is probably right around $40,000 in our first week, as part of an alpha, having we didn't even have trading when we started, and there's no fighting yet. This is just like the very beginning of this game, and we already have $40,000 to show for it.
That's crazy.
It is mind-bogglingly amazing.
Okay, let me tell you. Here's why. You know how addicting it is to open those packs?
Yeah, I think that it's. I hope it's not actually addicting, although I'm sure you're getting a little dopamine hit when you pop them open. I don't want to have like a Steem Monster support group for people that literally need to be removed from this thing.
It'll be fine.
I'm assuming the people that are doing this aren't sacrificing their home mortgage payment to make it happen. But you never know. I mean, some people have put in $600, almost $1,000 into this.
Yeah, I saw some strangeness. I've seen a pack open that had 2 legendaries in it.
Yeah, that was amazing. Bernie got one of those.
I had a pack that had 3 rares and an epic. I thought that was pretty cool. And sorry, didn't you open one last night that had 2 epics in it, or am I making that up?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I had 2 epics and a rare, and I finally got a legendary, finally, and then I got another legendary.
So there's some weird things that are going to happen to the whole blockchain because of this game. The weirdest one of them is that packs, I think, might end up being the actual stable currency that people choose to use. So that when we build this auction house and you're able to trade monsters, and monsters are going to go up and down with the price of SBD and all this craziness, and we're going to add foils to all the cards, and I'm hoping that we're going to have more than one tier of foil, so you could have like a silver foil the gold foil and then like the legendary foil, and it's going to be crazy, and you'll have flames or snow effects or all this other shit. It's going to be the same card, but now you're just going to have kind of this epic visual for those cards, and you're going to have status and look freaking cool. And I think those cards are going to be worth a bunch more money. And so there's a little bit of like a lottery effect when you're opening packs that you might actually catch like a legendary in a legendary skin or a legendary foil. And I think that's going to be worth a bunch of money.
Can we start from the beginning? Because like Globo Cop says, he doesn't understand the slightest thing about it. So let's start all the way from the beginning. Basics.
Okay. The basics. So, Steam Monsters is a collectible trading card game that has elements of RPGs in it, and the actual play style is going to be kind of like a draft, like a NFL style draft. And so you buy a starter pack, and inside of that starter pack, there's going to be Steam Monsters and Steam Summoners. The Summoners will summon the monsters, and those two groups, and the monsters will basically fight on your behalf. The Summoners are going to have a mana pool. Each monster will cost some mana. So low-level Summoners are only going to be able to summon so many monsters per day. Higher level summoners can summon more monsters per day. The common monsters will be good, and as you get higher and higher into like legendaries and whatnot, they're going to have higher stats per level, and just higher stats in general. And so you're going to use a combination of summoners and monsters, and there's going to be a variety of ways that they can fight. There'll be some dailies so that like I want 12-year-old kids to be able to hop into this and start progressing. So there's going to be some easy fights that lead to a couple packs, like over a week or something, and just free ways for people to play and level and have fun and not have to spend ass loads of money. They could just choose to spend their time and have that work. Then we're going to have kind of a campaign mode where you're going to fight progressively harder and harder monsters in like a solo campaign. What else am I doing? We're gonna have PvP. So like I've been saying, there's going to be tournaments, and my first tournament that I do is going to have at least a prize pool of 1,000 SBD that's part of it, and that's going to come from the game cards. We're going to reserve some of those card monies to go actually reward players for having bought them to help keep pushing the value of these cards, because they're not just going to be cards you can trade, but cards that you can actually earn very large amounts of money for playing this game.
Aggro, I'm looking at the chat, and I just wanted to address a couple things. For like Globo, just so you know, RPG, that's role playing, right?
Yeah, that's a role-playing game, and like
like John Stuff said, it is like the game Magic the Gathering. So the point of the game.
Hold on.
Well,
no.
yeah, I mean somewhat, but just so it's a way for someone to understand it.
Yeah, so the collectible trading card game, that's like Magic, but the fact that all of your cards can level. In like Hearthstone and Magic, when you grab I don't know any cards, so like when you grab a black fighter that has the same name, all of those cards, no matter what and who owns them, they're all the same. In Steam Monsters, my version of a card is different than Azaria's because mine can level up, and mine might level up at a different rate than Azaria's. And I'm going to have the ability to equip them with items and like swords and armor. I can't do that yet, and that's probably a couple expansions away. But we're going to be able to build equipment into this, and even that equipment will level. And so I'm going to have like this incredibly unique set of characters that I'm betting it's going to be very hard to duplicate exactly what other people have in any given week. I would think that would be extraordinarily unlikely.
So let me get back to the very basics for people that may not be familiar with collectible card games. So, what is the actual, the basic idea of the game? Without going into, the leveling up portion, which I would consider a feature, but what is the basic purpose? How do you, do you have a card and you're trying to get rid of their life, or you're trying to beat the other person?
So
how does that work?
You're gonna have summoners. The summoners are gonna summon monsters, and the monsters are gonna fight stuff. They'll either fight computer generated stuff, they'll fight other players in the game, or they'll fight as part of the guild versus computers or other guilds. And that's the basic.
And then you win by defeating that monster or other player or whatever you've set up.
That's right. So the stats, you're going to have a couple core stats: attack, defense, health, and speed. And when your monster's health goes to 0, they're dead. And when you're out of all of the monsters on your team, you've lost that round. So what you're really trying to do is outthink your opponent. This game is really like rocks, papers, and scissors more than anything else, in that I'm going to look at the team that you have been using over the last couple of weeks, Shane, as you and I have to fight next, and I know I have to fight you. And you've been using this red team, and you've been really effective with it. And I'm going to be like, that red team is pretty good, but red is weak against blue. So I'm going to send my blue army thinking that Shane is going to use the red army that he keeps using. And Shane's going to be like, I've been using this red army on purpose for a couple weeks now, knowing that I'm going to get this challenging opponent in this big tournament. So I'm actually going to use my blue army because I'm going to use my green army because I suspect Aggro's going to use the blue to counter my red. So I'm going to switch to my green to counter his blue. And that kind of thinking is going to get built into your thought pattern so that you can, you are going to rocks, paper, scissors me and try to beat me with armies that are designed to beat mine.
That kind of reminds me of The Princess Bride when they were having the battle of wits.
Oh, I'm glad that you that's so clearly I cannot choose the green card in front of me. Knowing that that I can't choose the green card, that means that you are going to choose the black card. So clearly I can't choose the white card in front of me. Yeah, 100% yes.
Shane, that's so funny because when Agrod was explaining this game when we had our meeting, that's exactly the analogy that he used.
It's 100% yes. So it's going to be, I'm going to turn everybody on this platform into Vicini. And you guys are just going to sit around and try to outthink one another of is Aggro the kind of guy that's going to send his undead army against me? Because he's had a lot of luck with that. But he'll know that I know that he's had a lot of luck with that. So I better use a different army. But he's going to know I know that he's had a lot of luck with that and will use a different army, and therefore he'll stick with it. You're
just wait until I get go. Yeah. Just wait till I get going.
Exactly. So that to me that's what I'm trying to induce for the play style. And you're going to have, you'll have some history knowledge because we'll publish what's been winning, what hasn't been, or maybe not what hasn't been winning, but we'll say what's been winning, give some stats on how far people were getting with different armies. And suddenly it's going to be clear that some armies become popular. And immediately after they become popular, somebody's going to build the army that counters it, and that's going to become popular. And somebody's going to build the army that counters that, and that's going to become popular. And somebody's going to build the army that counters that, and then it turns out that first army was really good at countering that army that's now popular, so it's going to come back into style. And it's going to be this kind of weird rotating mix of trying to outthink what your opponents are going to do, and at the same time trying to come up with clever ways to stop whatever is the most popular set of cards at that time.
Okay, so, listen. Yeah. There's some funny sarcasm going on, but Globocop. Okay, he bought his starter pack, And he's like, what do I do now? And people are like, just keep throwing money at aggro till you're bankrupt.
Yeah, that's good advice, actually. No, I mean, so the game is an alpha. The game doesn't freaking work, people. And I've been, that's why I posted it's an alpha, and I posted it doesn't work. The next thing we're building is an auction house, and the auction house is going to let you trade cards without any trust necessary. And so that's the first part of this. And then the second part of this is we'll probably get very, very simple daily quests going using fighting system, where before you're even able to fight one another in big tournaments and things like that, you'll just fight relatively easy combinations of summoners and monsters that we will put in front of you, and that's how you're going to learn to go do this.
This is going to be. This is absolutely fascinating to watch grow. I knew it was an interesting idea when I first heard about this. And you've been talking about this for a couple months. You haven't been just talking about it, but every once in a while you'd say, and I got to work on steam monsters. That's an idea I have, and then all of a sudden, it's popped up here, and it's just been fascinating to watch this whole process go.
Yeah, I mean, the reaction to this has been nothing short of extraordinary. And what we're doing is actually pretty groundbreaking. Forget the game, but just sort of like digital property rights of like owning these assets. That we are exploring something on like a frontier that people haven't really thought of or encountered. Like, in Ethereum, I don't know to what extent they're able to do what we're able to do, but with just your posting key, you can now move these digital assets around. So this to me is sort of like we've created one of the first SMTs, which is like my monster back dollars or monster pack dollars. I don't really know, but we've created this tool that you have control over. And that because it's built on the blockchain, if somebody, we'll help people do this, but if somebody wants to build like an explorer for all this, like the current state of the game will be built on the blockchain, and people will be able to know the rules and have their own view. They'll have their own like websites for this, where their interface or their skin or their team or their guild or whatever, they can build something that competes with us, and there'll be nothing that we can do because it's still on the block, and everybody will have access to all of these cards and this information.
Now, this is a question, this is sort of out of nowhere with this, but you mentioned that other people could build websites based on. Is there going to be an API available at some point? Is that something that's being looked at? That someone may be able to use information and create charts and graphs and strong teams and whatnot?
That's how we do it. The website is basically just an API call on the back end, and a lot of the information on the back end we scrape from the block. So we got to do it ourselves first to like make that happen. But there's no reason why other people can't build complementary sites using similar API calls to go build out the whole block or build out a whole website. And it is our hope that people do that, and we will help them do that.
So, other questions. I mean, this is fascinating. How much of this has happened, or how do I want to phrase this question? How much bigger has this gotten since the release? Has it always been this giant vision, or is the vision getting bigger as you're seeing the popularity come through?
We are certainly upping the pace because of the popularity, but this is mostly in line with the vision. I think what I didn't fully understand when I was starting this was just how much story we really need to put into this. And I was thinking about that sort of as people. You play World of Warcraft, right?
Yes, I do.
So like,
there's a ton of story to that.
Right. So the lore, like, who's your favorite boss, and can you share just like a hint of the lore around them?
I'm playing current content,
Wait,
and I'm actually just
Shane. Before you answer that, I just wanted to ask the audience while you're answering that: are there any writers in the audience? please type in and let me know. Thank you. Go ahead.
I'm just now starting to get into the actual lore portion of the game, and I'm finding it fascinating. Oh, that there's this big long backstory, and during the gameplay you actually create, the lore that happens, but there's stuff that's happened long before. Um, there's a new expansion coming out in August, and without giving away too many spoilers if people play or don't know, basically the two factions, Horde and Alliance, had been teamed together to fight off the big Legion that was coming to destroy. This expansion followed that storyline. Well, they defeated the Legion, so the next expansion are the two factions are going back to war with each other. And the main, I wouldn't necessarily call her the boss, but the war chief of the Horde is a character named Sylvanas. And there's questions out there whether she's actually evil or if she's done the right thing in starting this war coming up for this new expansion. So I'm finding that fascinating because I'm now going back and trying to learn about her backstory, and I'm learning that she's always had this, lack of a better term, evil streak in her.
And that story sucks you into the game, right?
Oh, it absolutely does.
So the way that that's going to work here is that we're going to have multiple story arcs. There's going to be this main story arc that is, I'm developing aspects of this now, and Azaria is going to play such a role in how we do this. But roughly speaking, I imagine that there will be some central banks that are involved in this that are causing havoc, that the tournaments are going to be presented as some of the most glorious events ever, and then slowly we'll find out they have a really seedy underbelly, and that it's more like bread and circus to go like help ignore problems in the world rather than like address ways to go improve the realms for all inhabitants of it. And the like legendaries are going to play central roles in that story, and then all of like the commons are just going to have sort of like funny background stories.
So that's what I'd like to tell the audience about. So the common cards and the rare cards, we're going to have contests for backstories for each card, and that's going to start on Monday.
And
so
like
there's the link for it. So
yeah, that's a level up right there.
And that's a level.
So ironic, right? You're going to level up on the leveling up story. So like you're going to have a pit ogre, and we're going to tell the story of the pit ogre. And as that pit ogre levels, we're going to actually give you more of the story of who that pit ogre is. And in that case, the pit ogre isn't going to have like central stories. He's just a common. That's not what we're building the game around. But like when you unlock new levels for like the Phoenix or the Frost Giant, you're going to get some story that's going to play directly into the game, and it's only going to be revealed as you level those cards.
Right. And so what the contests are doing is that every Monday we'll reveal a common or a rare card, and the contest will be to write a backstory for that card. The contests on Wednesday will be for art, so any type of art, drawing, painting, or even music. And then on Friday, it'll just be basic fantasy stories. I mean, we're seeing so many, we've been doing this 1 week, and I know Toriko wrote one. People are just writing fantasy stories. So the rewards, the one that I think is the coolest is the backstory for the common and the rare cards, because whoever wins that, your story will be in the game, in the official game.
And it'll link back to your account so that like people will know, oh shit, Shane wrote this. And if they wanted to see more of the stuff that you're working on, they can click into that.
Yeah, so that's a really cool reward.
That's a damn good feature.
Yeah, so when you're on the website and you click on the card, you're going to see one of the options currently is to combine all of your cards. We're going to be adding an option that says backstory. So then when they click on that, they'll see your story, they'll see your Steemit link, and of course your name. So it's pretty cool. Plus then all the contests offer the booster pack rewards. So that's going to start on Monday, all the contests. It'll be cool.
And that story will keep increasing with each monster as they level. So hopefully it's going to be something like, the goblin shaman enters the tournament against his will, pushed in there by the great phoenix that forces him to do this. He's pitted against just a lowly kobold, and as he crushes that kobold with the fatal spell sapping the life energy, he feels it absorbing into his body. His skin crackles with energy, and the shaman gains new might and learns new spells and ready to go, and now feels more prepared to crush his next opponent. It's some idea that like you are getting more powerful as you level, and the stories will reflect that as they're going. And in the legendary ones, we're going to tell the stories of like, I'm not going to reveal what I'm thinking for some of the legendaries.
No, keep those secret. Let those be experienced in the game.
But
People,
there's going to be all kinds of Easter eggs tossed in here, and I just have a real commitment to want. So like, the first achievement in the game is going to be called "Feed the Burn," which is a reference to Bernie Sanders, who collected all of the cards first. But it's also a reference to sort of that, as Ari was saying, this shit's addicting. I want. There's some kind of burn after you start buying packs to want to get more, and I'm sort of paying homage to that feeling too. But the first achievement that we're going to build into this game was caused by an action of a player collecting all the cards, and we're going to name it after them. And another one of these would be like a reseller. Has his name in Discord as Reseller of Souls, and as far as I know, he's the first person to complete a summoner of max level. And so, like, if you look on a lot of Magic cards, somewhere written on that card is like a little quip of like, the Knights of Victoria always summon the best demons. There's some like non-in-game thing that gives you flavor text. So Zintar Mortalis, I think that's his name for he's the black colored summoner. He's going to get Reseller of Souls, or like that's going to be something like his tagline. And it's going to be, we're going to pay homage to the people that actually do things in the game. We're going to turn their real life actions into story actions in the gameplay. So whether it's we're creating stories, whether I just put out an auction so that somebody could be built into the game as a boss fight, whether it's you're the first person to kill that boss monster. We're probably like, if a nomad soul wins the auction, then we're gonna create a boss fight for him, and then the first person that we see that kills him or kills that boss, we're probably going to name the achievement after them. So like I have a commitment here to build the storyline around the actions of the actual players. So like
go ahead.
Well, just another example would be guild. Like, we're going to have guilds that are part of this. The guilds are going to fight each other, and eventually there's going to become some guilds that get like are the top of the heap and hopefully stay there a little bit. We're going to build in that those guilds, like, they become part of the lore of season 1 for how much ass they're kicking, and like it'll be part of the in-game story that like you call the Palnetian Watchguard, right? So for Palnet, we're going to reference them or something. The Palnetian Watchguard keeps winning fights and keeps winning guild wars. Like, we will build into the story that is revealed to all players that the Palnetian warlords are like the greatest fighters of the realms. And we'll build the real world actions of players into the game.
So I do have a question. One thing that I've been seeing over and over is you saying you're trying to design this where it's not a pay to win situation. So how does that go along with the leveling system?
Well, I think the most important feature of that is the level cap. So you can you can make it so that you level faster and you have an advantage early by buying cards, but eventually it will wash out because everybody will reach the same level just through diligent play. And so you'll get kind of an early advantage by buying, but it's not a permanent advantage by buying because eventually people will have the same maxed out cards, and it won't have so much to do with um, it won't have so much to do with did you spend $600 more than the other person. If you keep playing, you're going to get the same deck. And so the question is going to be, did you strategize better with them, or did your guild work collectively as a team better than them? Did you pick good fights as a group? Did you all show up to combat? Were you able to down the boss fights that we give the guilds week after week? Like, you gotta, it there will be benefits to playing to win, but the level cap makes it so that it's not a permanent situation.
Look at this in the chat. Ron got his first legendary.
Congratulations, Ron. Thank you for
So
buying those cards.
okay, so follow up question is, um, I understand the battle of colors. Are the cards differentiated enough that red is going to be any different of a game style play than green or black or white or the dragons?
Yeah, I was actually thinking about different styles of play. I was thinking sort of healing and magic based and Zerg based. Zerg being a shit, I'm gonna say Star Wars, but it's not. Starcraft race, and what you do is just build a ton of these things, and you fight them. So like, there's gonna be mana caps to the tournaments, and so it might be that like the black team, which is the dead team, is gonna be the like, just summon lots and lots of low level monsters because they're gonna play well together. And gold is going to be sending the one big dude to crush everybody, and white might be heavy on defense and figure out ways to slowly wear down your opponent. Fire is going to be some epic DPS that's going to kick the crap out of people. Like there'll be play styles that I'm going to try to build into the cards, or that you should be able to combo into the cards, and um, and that is part of the purposeful intent. I mean, this thing. I have a PhD in chemistry, and I look at how we're going to try to make this, and like it kind of breaks my highly mathematical, highly like big systematic brain. My brain starts breaking at how complex it is to play balance this.
Uh-huh. Globy, did you get that? Did you pull that? Globy, I'm gonna. Well, I can't be angry because I kind of did the same thing. My first pack, I pulled a legendary, and then I mean that hooked me hard.
Hey, Globo, I thought the same thing because I got the chromatic dragon, and I was just like, oh yeah, that's good because I'm a musician. That's awesome. And yeah, Global Cup, that's awesome that you just bought the starter pack and within 20 minutes got a legendary. That's awesome.
Yeah, so what we're fortunate about is that the play testing, the way that you actually fight, is computer simulations. So I don't have to wait, for like 8 million variants of this. The fighting is it's not going to be computationally like incredibly draining. It's like roll dice, see if it hits. If it hits, do this damage. Check if the monster's dead. If dead, start the next fight in that round. If all monsters are dead, move on to the next round, record result. Like this isn't like mining. This isn't like all your computing powers are belong to me. This is going to be something that we can get like millions of fights put together through kind of like combinatorial screening of fights, and we can get a sense of is this shit broken? Is it working? And you know, we're gonna see, and we'll have to see how it works.
Now, one of the questions I do have is the art, and Ron posted my personal favorite as well, the Twisted Jester.
Oh, good.
And the art on that, I don't know what it is about that particular piece, but that Jester is just phenomenal to me. Where did you get the art, and how did all this come about?
So the whole game, actually, so I created a game called Get Some, which is a very naughty card game where you try to get laid 10 times before you get pregnant 4 times. Yeah, it's fun. It takes 20 minutes. It's hilarious. It's totally inappropriate, although we did our best to not make it rapey. So there are some complaints that it is still kind of rapey. So I haven't like sold this or really pushed it beyond the initial Kickstarter because I have some like moral qualms about what I created. But I've done this once. I created a Kickstarter. I raised $21,000 and built the game, published the game, and I have some experience with that. And so I've been watching this stuff since I think that started in like 2012. In 2014, it was really important to me that my kids have avatars. Agrod comes from World of Warcraft, and it was my warrior. And sometimes, I kid you not, you can call me the biggest dork or nerd, but like I would summon my inner warrior to go face challenges I was doing, and I was sort of like drawing on the avatar I had been playing. And I felt it was really important for my kids to have that kind of avatar and have like some kind of role model of themselves as some powerful creature. And so I had a picture of my daughter, my oldest daughter. She was in a rainbow princess dress, like a tutu, but she was holding a sword and a shield. And she's not in this first alpha, but in like the next round of cards, she's going to be a summoner that's there. The next one is my second baby, is this like combination. She's a redhead and a real fiery temper. So she's going to be a combination of a dragon and a kid. My wife is currently in the game. She's Liana, as sort of like the healer druid. And I'll be in the game as a like possessed demon type, where the man is like an okay guy, but the demon like makes him do bad things. And actually, I named them Kevin, and Scalvin is the demon, and I named him Kevin as a homage to you.
Oh,
so
I don't know whether to be pleased with that or.
Well, Kevin's a nice guy. He's just under a spell, and has to do bad things. So it's meant to be kind.
The demon is called shame.
Yeah. So the guy that I got to build, I was just scrolling through artwork on Fiverr, and I found this guy who I'm like, holy shit, he's really good. And then I started thinking, as my girls started, so I played Hearthstone, and I always felt like Hearthstone had too much luck and not enough strategy. Because it was always about build this deck that does this one specific thing and hope that your cards come up first. And I got pretty high up. I was in like the top 3 or 5% of Hearthstone players for a while. And then after I figured out the gimmick, I'm like, this is boring. And it's too much luck. And I don't like that, because I'm smart and I want to win for skill, not because some random assortment of shit came up first for me rather than my opponent. And I basically abandoned the game and started thinking about how can I write my own. And the vision that I had was that instead of having random cards that would come to you, I got this image of my girls fighting, and they would rip off a button off of their like blouse or something, throw it down on the floor, and a monster would pop up and they would fight one another. And then I got this idea that there would be sort of like a row of buttons that they could cast for monsters, a row of buttons they could cast for spells, or like damage spells, and a row of buttons they could cast for effects. And you would never have to like hope that that card hit you. You could always just try to play whatever was the best spell, but you would have a limited assortment of spells. So the trick is to have like a really good combo that you could bring together, and it would be much more strategy based. And that carried into this version of the game where now it's not turn by turn and one player isn't casting one button and another player casts a button and so on back and forth. Now it's you're mostly picking your summoner and picking your monsters that you're going to bring. And that to me is very strategic. There is still some elements of luck because I don't want to completely remove it, but this game should be much more about looking at your opponent's history, seeing what they like to do, getting a sense of what cards they use, and then trying to think through ways to build a deck that counters what that does. And if I do my job as a designer, there should be lots of ways to counter different teams doing different things, and it becomes a highly strategic game.
All right, cool. So when do you think that the full game will be available?
So we're starting the dev work hopefully soon. Yaba's supposed to submit the spec sheet to a team of devs. That should happen, I think, this weekend, maybe early next weekend. Yaba does this shit professionally, so he knows how to spec it. And just from the basics of what we're seeing, we think an auction house is a relatively limited project in scope that we can get done in probably a couple weeks. I'm hoping that the real auction house is done in June or maybe early July.
What does that mean? What is the auction house?
So right now, if I want to trade a card with you, the only option I have is to gift it to you. And then I have to trust that you are going to send me the money or send me some card in exchange for that. And there's also the challenge of coincidence of double wants, which is like a weird economics term. But basically, if I have a frost giant to trade, but I want a phoenix, I have to go have a double coincidence of wants that not only do you have to want my frost giant, you have to be willing to give up your phoenix, and the statistical likelihood that those two things happen in a limited time period in that trade conversation in the Discord, that's pretty limited likelihood. And so what we really want to have happen is kind of an open auction where I can set like kind of eBay style. Here is my monster. This is my starting price. Here is a buy it now price. And at the end of a week, whoever is willing to pay the most for this, it will generate like a Steam Connect thing at that point. And you'll get that trade and you can initiate that trade. And now you're not sitting there looking for another human being that wants the exact card. Now you're looking through a database of all the possible transactions that people just post on the auction house and can find your one card and trade it for money. And you'll go on and you'll buy a card and you'll sell the excess, and you don't have to find both of them at the same time, because we'll just host an auction house that makes that easy.
And then what was the thing you had yesterday where you were saying there was live trading?
Yeah, so we started gifting. So gifting is live now. People are trading legendaries. I've bought $190 worth of legendaries. I've paid 15 SBD for them. Other people are paying somewhere between 17 and 20, although it's gone down a little bit because the price of SBD seems to have risen a little bit. Like, there's a lot of weird economics that go into this. And it's fun to try to see where prices settle out. But
how do people go about doing that?
So if they trust one another, like if you're trading with me, most people trust me. Like they can see that the Steam Monsters has a lot of money in the account, and they are more or less willing to accept that I'm not going to fuck them over because I have a lot of skin in the game in this, should they just trade with me and they don't worry about it? I make them send me the card first, and then I send them money. But other people, that if you're not trading with me, well, now it becomes a little bit trickier. And so one of the things that I've done is in the Discord, I've created a role called merchant. And people that want to be a merchant will send me SBD that I will hold. And if they ever act unethically, I will use the money that they give me to pay back the person that has been treated unethically.
Oh, very nice.
So the legal term for this is usually called a performance bond. So like my local municipality makes the construction company have a performance bond of like 2 million. And if they ever break anything, they take money out of that 2 million to pay for it. And if the company wants to continue doing business, they have to bring it back up to 2 million in order to keep functioning. Here we're not talking millions. What I've done is I put in 3 tiers of 100, 250, and 500 SBD, and literally people will send me that much SBD. I created an account called Performance Bond, and I just leave the money there. If they ever stop wanting to be a trader, I'll just return all that money. But now there's a way that I can hold people accountable up to the limit of the role that I gave them, to say, well, you don't really have to trust them because this trader has 500 SBD sitting in an account that Aggie owns. And so hopefully you trust me enough to be a good steward of this game and look at situations and look at block reactions and figure out who was acting ethically, who was not. And if it was the trader who was acting unethically, that's fine. You'll get your money anyways because I'll take it from the trader's performance bond to make sure that your transaction is paid. So
Globy asks, who decides? Now, is this trade on the blockchain?
It is. So if you gift a card to Azaria, we're going to use your private posting key because now we require that as a login, and we will use your posting key to go send a custom JSON from your account. It'll post to the blockchain, and it basically is telling the entire state of the block that Azaria now owns the frost giant that you sent her. And then it is on the block that's in her account and in her name, and now she owns that digital asset.
So combined with that being on the blockchain, if someone says, hey, we made this trade, I sent the card but did not receive the SBD, you can check the blockchain and say, yes, I can see where this transaction for the card happened.
Yeah, it happens now.
I either do or don't see the SBD transfer.
Yeah, go to steamd.com/@swelker101 right after you go give your wife a card, and you'll see a transaction ID for that card.
Give me a card. I want the Twisted Jester.
I powered up my Twisted Jester.
I hate you. So Aggie, how do I get say I wanted to, specifically get that Twisted Jester? What would be the steps? What would I do?
Well, right now it's an inefficient market. You have to go into a public Discord and type in, I'm looking to buy a Twisted Jester. Look at what people are paying for that right now. And I forget if that's a rare or an epic, but somewhere under 10 SBD, probably around 5 SBD or less.
It's a rare.
So a rare. Yeah, that might only be one or 2 SBD. And so you will pay. You'll put into chat, I'm paying 1 SBD for a Twisted Jester, and then you're going to wait and hope that somebody responds, I have a Twisted Jester I can give you, and then you guys will trade. And for like a Twisted Jester, you'll probably trade and you won't want a merchant. But we're gonna build foils in. So like in Hearthstone, you can get a gold foiled card, and at some point we'll even build in kind of tiers of foil. We're not gonna start that way, but so your legendary could be like a foiled legendary, and then you're gonna look that much more epic, and that card is gonna be worth that much more. So whereas like legendaries are trading for like 15 to 20 SBD right now before the tournaments even begin, um, like one that has a foil on it might be 25 or 30 now, just because it's that much rarer and that much cooler. And somebody might steal that, and you don't want them to steal that. So you're going to go look for somebody that has that merchant group, and I will give the merchant 30 SBD, and you're going to give the merchant that card, and the merchant will give us. I'll get the piece I didn't have, and you'll get the piece you didn't have, and then we'll probably tip the merchant a little bit. And now that transaction goes through, and if the merchant runs away with your card, then you guys will complain to me and say, "Hey, we did this trade, and that fucker stole our money." And I'm going to say, "Oh, don't worry. I have a performance bond of 100 SBD that I took from that bastard. You can now each have 50. Sorry you don't have your card, but at least you now have 50 SBD each."
Now, did I hear you earlier say legendaries were selling for about 17? Was that SBD or dollars?
SBD. I haven't looked in the last couple hours, but
that's actually not bad. If my back of the math or back of the napkin math, if you wanted a specific legendary, I was figuring that was about a 1 in 1,000 chance that you opened a pack that happened to have the specific legendary you wanted. So buying it straight up for 17 SBD is actually a pretty good bargain at this point.
Yeah. Shane.
Yes.
Look
at Clayboy.
Yeah, you see that?
I do see that.
See how nice that is?
Yeah.
You said that you're going to give that to me,
but it was Clay.
And Clay, it was Clay.
So
hey, Clay gets to pay all the bills now.
Boom.
Damn.
No, getting back to it, it seems like that's a bargain to buy the specific card you want.
Yeah, I mean, that's why
because the chance of actually getting the one you want is rare.
I promised myself I'm not going to go just print myself packs, because that's horrible inflation and shit behavior on my part. So I'm willing, right now, all the legendaries that I have, I've purchased. And I've purchased 13 of them for 15 SBD each, maybe 14. And I think it's a good deal. One of the other things that I see pretty frequently is that folks don't really know what the cards are worth, but they know that they want the one that they're missing. So another highly frequent trade right now is I have a Frost Giant that's extra, and you have a Phoenix that's extra. Let's just swap those. And so there's really not much money that's involved in that. It's more like legendary swapping to fill gaps. And that way people aren't like, "Oh, I'm getting totally effed because I didn't have that legendary with me."
All right. Now that we're talking about legendaries and whatnot, what are the plans? Is there going to be different sets? Is this just one set done? What is the plan as far as availability of specific cards?
So I have another 50 pieces of card art that exist already. So we'll make more decks and more cards. It's not the priority. The priority is the auction house, and the priority is fighting. After those things are in place, then we can get back to, all right, now let's expand content and let's expand story. So like immediately just getting the game out of alpha and into beta, now that there's like a working deck. I mean, it's only 60 cards, and that's not a ton, and we know it's not a ton, and we're going to add a lot more. And in fact, I'm hiring the artist to go draw another 100 cards for me. So I have 50 in the bank, and I have another 100 that hopefully will happen between June 15th and maybe the end of July. And I'll probably just keep making sets of 100 more cards with him and card art with him, because that's the lifeblood of this game.
Agrod, I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
I am going to send Clay a blue Medusa, and I clicked on the card, and it says send as a gift, but it's not, like, it won't let me click on that.
In the right-hand corner, you should see a thing that says your cards, and there's a little check mark up there next to the level. It's like a little white box.
Mhm. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Click on
Okay.
that, and then that sort of activates that card you're working with.
yeah, and you
Got
got to
it.
be careful because you probably just want to send them the level one. If you've leveled up cards, and you got to be careful not to send. So like a level 4 legendary is going to be worth a lot more than a level 1 legendary because in part the like skills are going to be so much higher and there's going to be fighting abilities that they'll get. So you're not going to want to, like, if you want to gift your friend something like a 15 SPD gift, great, go send them a level 1 legendary. If you want to go trade like a $200 card, you're going to give somebody a level 4 legendary. Does that make sense? So just be careful when you're gifting
Yep.
that you're not sending like a totally leveled card unless that's your actual intention.
All right, cool. I just did my first send, and I think it worked.
Yep, so we use your private posting key. Now, technically, you don't even need Steam Monsters to do this. This is just a handy UI to make this really easy for people. But if you were a programmer, you could go in using your own posting key and using something like Vessel to go generate a custom JSON that would go into a block but wouldn't show up as a post and would transfer ownership of your card to somebody else. You don't even need us because you own your fucking card. That's what we made. And that card is different than every other card in the game. So like again, like a black mana card in Magic is the same as every other black mana card that has the same name. For us, your Pirate Captain 1 is different than Pirate Captain 2, is different than Pirate Captain 3, because all of them could have different experience. Eventually, all of them could have different pieces of equipment. Every single card is a unique card that exists with its own history on the block.
Now, I'm looking through here. I do have a question I wanted to ask, but I have to find exactly what I'm looking for here on Steam D.
Okay, well, while you look at that, I have a question. So, what was your answer again on as to when the official game you think it will be out?
So the first project is to go get the auction house built, and we think that'll happen hopefully by like July 1. Maybe even sooner, because it's not really that big of a project. What comes next is fighting will come after that. So Yaba's plan is to go submit. He's going to submit the specs for the auction, and then he's going to get to work building the back end of a fighting system. And his back end skills are actually quite good, and please don't take that the wrong way. But he's a back end developer, so he's going to have some really good ability to build that relatively quickly. So I'm not worried about getting the fighting system itself going, but building a UI or a user interface and like a web page to go do all this shit is actually going to be fairly complicated. So I'm telling people that it's probably going to be September 1st. If we go on the pace that we think we can go, and this would be like Yaba mostly working in the wee hours and off hours from his job, it would probably be September that fighting starts. If things go to shit and he gets all this extra work and life is crap, then it's probably going to be pushed back to December. And we're in the process of hiring the Degen Sloth, who runs a development company that also operates Zapple, and we're likely to go hire his team to build the auction house. And if the auction house project goes well, we will also give them the contract to go build the user interface for the fighting. And if that happens, he's got a team of like I forget if it's 27 or 37 devs that he can draw from, and we'll have kind of like a rented dev shop opportunity where he can farm out parts of that labor to lots of different groups, and hopefully that would expedite this quite rapidly from a September 1st launch to something earlier than that. I don't want to put a date to it.
And what other types of developments will be happening in the meantime with the cards themselves? Like,
well, stats have to get on there. So I have like pretty complicated spreadsheet about mana cost and what the stats are for a level 1 versus a level 10 common and a level 1 versus a level 8 rare. And so it's like, how many stats per mana cost will this guy get? And then how do we tweak it so that there's gameplay that's consistent with what we think this kind of deck should be built around? You know, again, like white maybe protection and red DPS and black kind of a Zerg and green maybe for healing, dragons for just sort of like some mega monster army, and I'm forgetting a color. And blue, I don't know what blue is, maybe just fuckery. And so we're going to build decks that hopefully have, you know, elements of all game play styles, but play strongest with certain types of play styles. So we're going to build the stats. Hopefully the stats will get built into the game, and you can view it through the web interface. And then secondarily, the story. I mean, I don't want to underemphasize how important I think the story is to this, and how important I think building user-driven content directly into the game, either because they authored it or they did something fucking awesome and now it's part of the game.
Is it possible? How do you envision keeping the Steam community engaged while we're waiting for the game?
These people are crazy engaged. I get people in the Discord 24/7. Like, people aren't sleeping because of this. Like, they're sitting there buying, trading, selling cards. While I've been here, we've probably earned at least 200 SBD. Let me go look at. It is hypnotic, fucking absolutely hypnotic to.
It is, but at some point, like say in 2 months, everyone who's addicted will have all the cards, and we'll have multiple cards. So, what can? Weren't you saying before that there was some kind of practice gameplay that could be done?
Since we've been on here, there's been like at least 100 SBD that has gone into this game by lots of different people, including some of the people in the audience right now. I can see Globocop, I can see Clayboyne, I can see Rondon. Yeah, people are buying packs. So the activity and the feedback and people that are interested, like the crowd is so excited and we're so in alpha that I'm like kind of scared out of my mind about trying to deliver a really good product to people in a really short order. What we can do to keep them interested now, going to try to build, like, just like we did with the auction. Auction started yesterday, and it's just this shitty trustless system, and we try to get some community workarounds for some of the lacking dev pieces of this so that it kind of works like an auction and you kind of get this stuff started. You know, we're going to go build what is the simplest, dumbest, easiest daily fighting thing, and we'll get that in there. And so there should be fighting. It's not going to be full PvP tournaments, and it's not going to be full guild tournaments, and you're not going to have boss fights right away. It's going to be like a handful of summoner and monster combos, and it's not going to be infinite. It's going to be this like really watered down, shitty interface, but it's going to be possible so that you guys can see it, and you can see where 6 months from now we're going to have like 40 fights a day, all very different from one another, all with different like PvP elements, PvE elements, meaning player versus player or player versus computer, solo mode versus group mode. I'm gonna hit you with so much fucking shit you can do. You could spend like 3 hours a day in here trying to figure it out. What's going to be best, how to make the most money, how to summon the monsters, how to level your characters, and at the end of the day, part of the reason to do all that is because like, I'm a witness. I make a lot of money from the blockchain already. I don't need this game to get me rich. I need this game to draw people to the Steam ecosystem so that everybody adopts this thing and we can have a better world that's based off of blockchain technology and a system that creates peace, abundance, and liberty. And I'm going to entice the shit out of people to come here and do that, because the tournaments that I'm going to make free to play, I'm going to pump full of like 1,000 SBD at a time. And so the cards that you have aren't just going to have trading value because people want them and it's cool and it's fun, but you could literally make 1,000 fucking SBD in one tournament in one day, and you're going to be like, holy shit, I'm quitting my job. I'm now a professional Steam Monsters player because there's an ass load of money available for me. And when that happens, hopefully it happens around the same time that Velocity hits. And I hope to onboard people from all over the world into the Steam ecosystem to play this game, to, literally have some chance to like get out of poverty because of this fucking game, because Steam creates abundance.
Oh, what's Velocity?
Velocity is hard fork 20 that makes it so that right now we got issues on the blockchain. We can't just onboard another million people. It would literally make it so that the RPC nodes don't run and none of the apps that are on the chain would work anymore. And it would just become too RAM intensive. So we have to go put in RocksDB and AppBase, which is already in production now. They're testing it now, and hopefully this month or next month we're going to put those in place. That's going to make it so that it's much less of an expensive resource draw, and that way we can actually scale the chain to another 10 million people. And when they do that, they're going to put in a hard fork that makes it really easy to add new accounts and very cheap to add new accounts, which it's not right now. And when that happens, we're going to start mainstreaming, and we're going to use Steam Monsters as a way to go mainstream people into the Steam ecosystem to play this game, having no idea what's about to hit them in terms of learning about Steam, learning about cryptocurrency, learning about peace, abundance, and liberty, learning about just a different way to interact with one another so that we can have a better society and a better life. And this is how we have nice things. So I'm gonna hit them with a lot of shit, and we're gonna take these normies from outside this world that just want to play a card game, and we're going to bring them into Steam, and they're going to buy Steam and hold Steam, and it's going to raise the price for everybody. And while they're here, we are going to teach them to behave better towards one another, because that's what this platform does.
Now, I was running an experiment while you were talking there, and I was looking, because I was looking at the blockchain. I was looking at the steamed information for Steam Monsters, and what I decided to do was take the last price I saw of someone sending Steam, 0.7 whatever, and I put in the same ID, the same like card pack ID in the memo that you get, and thinking, I wonder if there's a way, if I see someone get a pack and I figure out what that ID is, to replicate that pack. And hey, it passes the test. You have an extra 0.7 Steam for me, and I did not get a pack in return. So there is, at least I know there's not a way to make duplicate cards just, by saying, hey, I know this is going to have a legendary, so I'm just going to use this ID over and over again. So I guess that comes in from the custom JSON that actually does the creation.
Yep.
Good.
You can't spoof us. Again, Matt's a fucking genius. I mean, I'm not a dev. I couldn't have built this thing. And he's not a social engineer, so he can't build an ecosystem that already has hundreds of people playing this overnight. And like, he doesn't have the network that I do. I'm like, out of real accounts, I'm the 13th largest account on Steam by follower. So when I post this shit, and I post it frequently, I can hit huge numbers of the active audience on this blockchain in ways that only really 12 other accounts can. So there's some magic that's happening here between me as a social, business-focused, community-focused content person, and Yaba as like a pure dev, really smart, super like devoted to like bringing the best experience to people. Uh, and the two of us work really well together. I mean, he created Steam Bot Tracker, and he wasn't getting a lot of traction with it. And then we spoke, and we split that business, and I sort of spread it, and now there's literally 100 bots on that thing. And then we started working together on this, and we split this revenue too. Um, and we're both founders of this thing. And I feel blessed because I'm like, there's no fucking way I could go build this game. And he's saying, I feel blessed because there's no fucking way I could build this community. And between the two of us, we create really good team. We are a really good team, and we create really awesome products. And I'm really excited about this partnership because he's fucking gifted and devoted and has the totally right attitude, and is everything that I want in a dev. And hopefully I'm his counterpart for like that extroverted, like evangelical type, spreading blockchain technology and spreading the gospel of this game. I don't think that he wants to sit here on radio shows all day, every day, and like talk about this thing, but that's what it takes to get this message out. And the two of us together create one hell of a product team, and one hell of a content team, and one hell of a story, and we build successful things together. So I think we're going to keep going places, and he and I have a lot of the same vision, and he and I work really well together, and I'm excited for what we build. It's so far it's awesome, and this community is rallying like fucking crazy around it. My biggest fear was when I purchased the votes to go get that post into trending. Bernie has flagged me before and gets mad at me when I take over trending like that, and I'm like, man, one of the hardest things might be that Bernie's going to flag me for this, and we're going to have to fight him over and over to go get this out. And I guess I knew, I think it was Menno that showed me a post by Bernie that was like, I already got all the cards, kids. I was like, holy shit, I didn't expect that. If the guy that I feared would be my biggest detractor is my biggest advocate, and basically calling out the rest of the chain for being a bunch of bitches and not being able to get all the cards first, like, that was the moment that I'm like, oh God, this thing is going to be huge.
Yeah, I'm really happy that happened. I was just on his Steam page right now. He just posts about it all the time. I think it's hilarious.
Yeah, I'm blessed. I mean, Bernie is such a freaking character, and he's awesome. And he and I have had clashes. He's fucking called me out in posts and like aggroed is wasting all of our time with some of these social group things, and he unvoted my witness, and he's like, Hagen supports him, so I can't vote this asshole anymore. I know his true motives. And like, I actually really like Bernie. Like, he is a vigilante at times, and I have to keep asking him to stop calling people cunts on the chain. But I really like him. And I know he causes drama, and I know he causes challenges, but he is like one of the most passionate fucking dudes. And like, it's like my daughter in that she never listens to me, and I hate it, but I'm so proud of her for just being her own independent self. So I love a lot of what Bernie does, even when I disagree with it. I'm like, this guy fucking brings entertainment like nobody's business. So,
and you know what? 2 weeks ago when we had Clay and Shadows Pub on the show, I learned something that I didn't know about Bernie, was that, this is before my time, that he did a lot of curating.
Oh yeah, Bernie has helped more minnows on this platform. People know him as Bernie Sanders. They probably don't know that he's next gen crypto. But more importantly, they don't know that he was the power behind Engagement. Engagement was basically the biggest, like, selfless whale curating group on this blockchain for months and months. Like, Bernie has actually been an extremely good caretaker of not just whale content but minnow content. And that was when we were on exponential rewards, and trying to reward minnow content wasn't profitable for shit, and he was still out there rewarding them. And that's why I wrote a post called "A Tender Heart and a Dedicated Asshole," the enigma of Bernie Sanders. It was one of the best pieces that I think I've written, and it's just, this is a guy that on one hand doesn't give a fuck and will do whatever he wants, and on the other hand is a completely passionate advocate for what this place can be but isn't currently, and is really mad about it and willing to make a fucking mess about it. But it's not coming from a "fuck you, let's burn this place down." It is, let's have ideals that are so freaking high and bust Ned's balls all day long when he doesn't deliver on what this vision could be. So I respect the shit out of Bernie. I recognize he has very strong influence on this platform. I feel blessed, incredibly blessed, that he is supporting this project, because after he did that, like, we had a big boon in terms of how many people were getting into this. And the fact that Bernie bought in, who could have easily been the biggest troll of this thing, but is instead one of the biggest advocates, like, you know, it's weird to say in the 7 days that we've existed, like, to try to pinpoint one moment where I would say, this is when I knew we would go viral. It's when Bernie said, "I got all these cards. What's up now?"
All right, so this is a good spot for me personally. I do have to work tomorrow, so I'm on call this weekend. Fun. But before I got out of here, I wanted to do and I'm not even sure how to do this, but maybe you guys can help. I was going to give away a pack of cards to a new user. If you don't have, I saw Fee was listening. I don't know if she's still here. Amber, I saw earlier, had talked about it. If you are a brand new user, just say something in chat here. I'm going to try to figure out something here real quick to do a pack giveaway. So come up with that real quick, because I think it's
That's
a good time to give one out. Yeah.
Very cool. And you know what I would like to do, Agro, is that lottery thing. So let's talk about that at some point.
Yeah. All right. So who were you giving packs to, Shane? So
I was gonna figure out someone who was brand new to the game, someone that just may not even have an account yet.
Are you playing on a Smurf or on your main Swelker 101?
I'm playing on Swelker 101.
All right, so I'm gonna give you 5 packs, and I'm gonna give
Soundwaves. Sorry, Soundwaves is brand new here, so.
Lol. All right, so I'm sending, and let me go log into this thing. Give me a second. I'm going to send 5 packs to Swelker for promotional purposes, and I'm going to send 5 packs to Azaria. And Azaria, you can go give it away in kind of lottery style, and Shane, you can give it away for like new user style. And these are promotional packs. Please don't use these on your own. These are for you.
No, that's awesome. Hey, is there a way to see another user's collection? I'll take that as no.
we're working on that. It's not here yet.
Okay, cool. Because that'd be interesting to see. So I'm going to give away one right now. I will be doing a pack opening of my own personal ones, and I'm going to use those 5 as giveaways during the opening videos that I'll do. So, who does not have an account?
So I just sent both of you 5.
Thank you
from Steam Monsters. Congratulations.
Thank you, Aggro and Steam Monsters.
Yeah. Glad.
Yeah, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a lottery. I'm going to post about it on Steam Monsters, so keep an eye out. And it's going to be 5 booster pack giveaway.
Yeah, that works. I don't mind. I'm not going to inflate the shit out of this. but we have well over 10,000 packs sold. I am well under 500. We are less than 5% inflation as like pack giveaways to bring in new people. So I don't feel bad about where I'm at. And as this game scales, you know, like it's one thing to run a giveaway for like, I don't know, 100 packs for the map, but like every time we want to do content, it should be fine to get like 10 or 15 packs. I don't see me scaling up to like 2,000 pack contests and shit like that. I'm not gonna ruin the economy by inflating the shit out of these. And I have a promise to myself, although I haven't put it on the blockchain, but maybe I should, that Yaba and I will not simply like gift ourselves a shit ton of cards. Like I'll play and I'll be part of this game and I will outsmart the rest of you, but it's not going to be because I just gave myself 8 million cards. We're going to act as ethical business owners, and we want to play because this shit's fun, but we're not going to do it by just giving ourselves all the best cards in the game on day one. We're going to earn them like everybody else, or buy them like everybody else.
All right, so this is what I'm going to do. First person that I know, so this pretty much eliminates Clay. Sorry, Clay. I know you have a ton of cards. First person that DMs me their account gets the pack. See how long it takes. So I made that announcement. We're talking. Yeah, there's Clay hears me. So any second I should be seeing my. There it is. Hey, whoa. Okay, so Ron and then Floorbolt came in one right after the other. So Rondon came in, and Floorbolt came in, and Globo came in. All right, guys, that's it. Too late. It's already out there. Ron and Floorbolt. I'm going to send you guys one each. So
I sent you 5.
Oh, you want me to give them away right now?
I don't know. We're on air. Let's go do it now for the people
Let's
that are
do
live.
all 5. All right, Carnes that came in. So what I have here, we have our 5. Ron, Floorbolt, Globo, Soundwaves, and Karn. Oh, Karn just says just a message because I want to spam you. What? Whoa.
You're getting trolled.
Man. I got trolled hard. Yeah, I got trolled hard. Karn, you're out. I have room for one more.
Okay, I'll send you a message. I'll send you a message.
I just a message because I want to spam you. How awesome is that? All right. 4's going out. Ron, 4, Globo, and Soundwaves. All right, guys. I've got to hit it. Sorry, I'll see you shortly. Agro. Oh, here we go. Artemis. Artemis, you're the 5th.
Oh, yeah. Give one to Artemis. Yes.
So, Aggie, thanks for having me on tonight. You answered a lot of questions that I've had in my head. I'm sure I have a ton more. Yeah, this was fun. I'm looking forward to see how this develops. This is fantastic.
Well, glad to do it. Thank you. Good times.
All right.
Yes.
Good night, guys.
Good night. And Agro, I told you I had to be off the air 24 minutes ago.
Oh,
you know why?
why?
Because I got to go work. I have to work on Steam Monster stuff.
What are you doing?
I make a bunch of posts now on the Steam Monsters account, so I'm preparing my post for tomorrow.
Okay, that's awesome. Why don't you just spend 35 more minutes with me?
We go through this every week. Okay. Okay.
Well, I mean, we're talking Steam Monster stuff. So I actually think that what we have to do is 1 hour of Minnow University, 1 hour of Peace Academy, and 1 hour of Steam Monsters, and that could be the Saturday evening format.
Okay.
Hey, I just popped back in.
Oh my God.
Oh God.
Because
Kevin, what do you want?
I know.
Kevin.
I know. Hey, I realized I never did get to ask my question
Oh.
that ended the Minnow University portion, because then we actually got into Steam Monsters.
Yeah, go for it.
So, Mike, this opens the rabbit holes, and then I'm going to scoot on out of here and I'll listen off air. But
I'm just here to stir up shit, and then I gotta go.
So, you had said you were going to work bankers into, the people that work for the bank aren't necessarily bad, but the people who run the bank, could be considered evil or bad, or however you want to put it.
Yeah.
How do you coincide that with the video that you do like to share of there is nothing good nor bad, there just is?
Well, okay, so that's it. You're gonna make me sit up in my chair and fucking do this right. No, that's actually a phenomenal question. It's one of the most woke ass questions I've heard. Okay, so my spiritual belief is that we all have the spark of the divine creator inside of us. We are all attached to the same eternal essence, the same being. We all have that life spark of the great pumpkin spirit inside of us. And so when I hurt you, when I hurt my kid, when I hurt a stranger, we are all one person, and we all harm one another. And now some of this comes back to my stance on liberty is do no harm but take no shit. When some other entity is causing harm, we have a moral obligation to stop it. That doesn't mean that we have to harm them or kill them, but there are ways to go contain that hopefully doesn't have to involve violence. In terms of the story of is it good or bad, if we're all one entity, then maybe they are playing the role in which their job is to go wake people up. And to do that, they kind of inflict some of this weird torture, but only because we're so resilient to wake up without it. And I don't know quite how all of this fits together, but I think ultimately it's our what we want to do is stop the harmful behavior, and hopefully it doesn't require force, but we want that to stop, and so that we can have nice things, but recognize that having gone through a period where there was lots of strife on this world, even with death and even with harm and even with disease and all this other stuff, if you just say, oh, that's all horrible, God is dead and life is horrible, then that you can have that outcome. I think I would say, the individual events will certainly cause us harm, but if that is what our society needs to wake up from where we're at so that we can have nice things and kind of reinvent society to be something better, then maybe it's not the world's worst thing to have there. So these are kind of not quite the same, but it's ultimately recognize that the bankers are doing harm, get them to stop, and in some ways be thankful for the harm that they caused, because it's waking us up to want to build a better system. And when that's in place, we'll have nice things. It kind of shitty that we had to go that route, but better late than never. How does that feel, Kevin?
No, I know that was sort of a gotcha question, but that was what my, that was one of the things I was having a hard time wrapping my head around, is the combining of those two aspects.
Well, they're causing harm, right? The bankers literally fund both sides of the war, and they encourage both sides of the war, and they profit off of both sides of the war. It's funny, sometimes I'll go into League of Legends and I'll troll them and be like, do you know who wins every single game of League of Legends? These weapons salesmen that are sitting on either side of this fence. They always win. And it's a joke because they don't actually exist. They're just computer generated things. But in the real world, who wins every war? Well, the bankers that are making the loans and then profit by billions of dollars every year because of it. They're using their wealth to cause war, to profit from the war, to cause more war, to get more profit. And that's why our country has been at war for the last 200 plus years, because it's central banks that are in charge, and that's what they do. So it took Americans a really long time to figure that out. Now that a lot of folks have figured that out, hopefully we can change that system into something that's infinitely more peaceful and never allow that system to exist again. And if lots of people had to die and suffering had to be there, that is shitty. But if the outcome of this is that we really build the whole new unique world and mindset where we can eliminate all that stuff permanently because we experienced such shittiness from it, then from a utilitarian viewpoint, maybe that was one of the best things that could have happened to us as a society. And maybe we really needed to learn quite a harsh lesson in order to collectively grow past this. Kevin, what do you think? Does that sound like total bullshit to you, or could that resonate at all?
It does resonate, but I keep coming back then to say what's good or what's bad. It just is.
That's the best fucking answer ever. That's correct. The universe just is, and then we apply these labels to it, and those labels don't always make sense, but we're faulty human beings. The universe just is, and we are just experiencing this thing, and you're totally right. But I guess one of the lines here is that while I'm in this meat sack, I am committed to a life of peace, but I'm not a pacifist. If people are harming me or harming my circle, I have an obligation to stop that. And I won't be passive in that. I will be an activist to go stop harm that's being caused. It doesn't mean that I'm going to like run into a bank and shoot heads of banks, because that's unethical. But I have a moral obligation to make their behavior stop. And one of the best ways that I think I can do that is to bring people into STEAM, because of a quote of Buckminster Fuller, which goes something like, you can't protest away the shit you don't like. You have to build something that makes it obsolete. I think STEAM will make the central banks obsolete. So rather than trying to focus on violence towards the banks, I'm going to focus on promoting the shit out of STEAM to the point where, why would I use fiat money? Fiat money is going to devalue every year, and it's used for war. No Steam dollar has ever killed somebody or like been responsible for arms sales that kill people. I'm going to support the shit out of this thing. And if enough people do that, we can have nice things, ruin the bankers' ability to cause war, and have a system that promotes peace, abundance, and liberty. I don't have to be violent to them to stop them. I just have to be proactive in getting people here, and I think we can have nice things.
Awesome.
Can you see that vision? Does that
resonate? Yeah, I can definitely see the vision. I was just interested. So yeah, it does make sense. It's a strange concept.
Oh, it's totally fucked. Yeah, nobody has any experience with this because you're not taught any of this in school. You're not taught how to live peacefully. You're taught how to be bullied and how to obey and how to be frustrated and not communicate. Like, I had to go through 40 years of shit to get here. And I'm trying to make it so that other people don't have to do that because it sucked.
What do you think is a strange concept exactly?
Okay, so I don't know. Were you on when I asked the question?
No.
The question I asked was earlier when Agrod had said that, working into the game, he was going to work, like the banking system being bad. And I was asking him how he fits the idea of bad, the bankers being bad, into the same concept of there's no such thing as good or bad. There only is.
Yeah, but so both are true. It seems paradoxical. You can have a banker that is causing harm, and we feel that harm, and we should resist it. But because we're all one entity, we are causing harm so that we can experience that harm, so that we can know not to cause that in the future. And if you look at the worldview of like every person is its own totally separated, non-connected human being, then it's infinite suffering and it's horrible. If you realize we're all one entity, kind of sharing different meat sacks and having a kind of veil of forgetfulness between us, where you don't realize that the person that you're next to is actually comprised of the exact same essence of spirit of the great pumpkin spirit between us all, you miss the fact that you are your brother's keeper because your brother is you. We are all connected. So we can all learn from these experiences and kind of improve the overall spirit of all people to improve this place and make it better and stop causing harm and try to have nice things. But we're not going to get there by just murdering everybody along the way that is different from us. We got to stop the harm, make changes, and that change starts from within first.
Cool. And on that note, I am logging off for reals this time. All the packs have been sent, guys. Thanks. Thanks for listening to me for, wow, a lot longer than I expected tonight. And once again, Agro, thanks for having me on and answering the question and being prepared for the little gotcha moment. And
I wasn't prepared. I just did my best to answer to the best of my ability for a very, it's a really sophisticated question. I'm really proud of you for being able to ask it. And I'm stoked that it is in your brain because we all need to think about it. And maybe my answer resonates, maybe it doesn't. It'll resonate with some and not with others. And
I'm still not clear on the answer, but Shane, when you get off air, come out here a second, and then we can keep talking about this with Agro.
Okay.
Perfect.
So,
right. Good night, Kevin.
Good night, Kevin. I'm not good with paradox stuff.
All right.
Okay, so, all right. So the question was,
how can bankers be bad when there is no good or bad?
No good or bad. Okay.
So bankers, I think it's confusing what bankers are. They're not bad. They are causing harm. And it is our responsibility to stop harm. And we would normally think of harm and causing harm as being bad, but in the context of that harm is being caused so that we can learn from it, so we can get a different experience out of this, maybe we shouldn't think of it as bad so much as it just is, and we would like something different to be just is.
All right. That's cool. I get that.
Well, that's where we landed.
All right.
So welcome to the Peace Academy, people. We talk about some weird esoteric shit, and like we've been doing, we're going to weave this kind of weird esoteric political libertarian take no shit, cause no harm attitude and weave it into the game where in Steam Monsters you're going to see people that cause harm, and we're going to figure out collectively how do we deal with that, and how do we deal with that in ways that then blow up in our face. How do we deal with that in ways that are productive? How do we deal with that in ways that cause unexpected or unintended consequences? And we're going to look at sort of case studies, because what bugs me in the world, this game is meant, like, at its core, I'm just trying to be a good dad, and I want my kids to grow up in a world that's better. And so in the world that I'm in now, I turn on the TV and all the little girls are princesses and all the little boys are pirates. And princesses is this like totally useless class of human being. They suck resources from the entire planet and give almost nothing back to it. That's a shit role model for every little girl to want to be. And pirates are these like nihilistic bastards that cause harm and rape people and steal. Like, in theory, that's a really shitty role model to be too. So what we're going to do is create some characters that are in this that are going to represent archetypes of people, and hopefully we're going to turn some of these narratives around so that like the role models of people that you're going to root for aren't the ones that cause violence or suck resources out of the system or simply live to make you follow them and obey them and worship them, but instead it's going to be about sort of how do we live peacefully amongst ourselves, and maybe even in a world where you can have consensual violence at times. And maybe there are some elements to this that aren't healthy, and we're going to explore concepts of how do we get to a healthy place having started one that was unhealthy. And so we're going to try to weave narratives into this to make it to build parallels to things that currently exist now, and then explore those concepts in a way that doesn't indoctrinate kids into shitty viewpoints that make them worship a system that causes them harm. I don't know how well I just explained that, but that's some of the goal.
Well, at the same time you were explaining that, Clay was trying to explain paradox to me. So my brain is fried from this week.
And Torco, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to be racist towards pirates, but as a class of people in a profession, pirates are people known to steal and people known to take resources from others. I know that you like to be the pirate puppy. Maybe.
Yeah, and not all occultists are bad.
Yeah, that's probably true.
It's very true.
I think that there's lots.
A cult just means what isn't really known to the general public. That's kind of the definition. So now there are occultists that are doing horrible things, but not all occultists are bad.
Yeah. All right. That's like all ports are like all boats are ferries. But
yes.
Not all ferries are boats. Like
correct.
The vice versa. Fine, I accept that. But I don't know. I'm so freaking tired, and this is like a complicated, like, existential question about philosophy of building narratives into a game. But I want you guys to realize that this is not like I get up at 6 a.m., I go to bed at midnight. I spend every single waking minute working, trying to figure out ways to grow this chain and help this community and provide jobs and grow wealth and bring people to this platform, and then use this platform as a way to teach peace, abundance, and liberty so that we as a society can have nice things. That's the dream. And I'm going to use this platform and work with my darling Bizaria, and we are going to create stories that have some parallels to modern shit that's going wrong, and we're going to try to talk through how some of these elements might be tackled and build that into the narrative of the game.
I think that's a cool idea.
I think it'll be fun. Take off your shirt. God damn it, Ron. Don't just say, show your tits to me. What the fuck is wrong with you? Jesus.
I know, that's why I was laughing before when you were talking. We're both of us are just completely exhausted trying to talk about philosophical concepts, and Ron's like, take off your shirt.
Yeah, show your tits. Show your tits. No, Ron. You keep your sexuality to yourself. We're talking about monsters and kid shows, not man titties and whatever other naughtiness that you want to get into. I'm not just some sack of meat for your amusement, sir.
That's right. You tell him.
You can actually get 2 legendaries in one pack. You have a 1 in 12,000 shot of that happening, but it's happened 4 or 5 times already, which is pretty fun. And when you do that, you like spent $2 and you got stuff worth at least 30 SBD, probably more. Chatterbait. I don't know what that is. Shut the fuck up and take off the shirt already. You people are fucking savages. I love this place. I love this is my home. I'm so exhausted, but I do this because I love it. I love it. Clay, you're a blessing. Swoop, you're a blessing. Globo, you're a blessing.
What about
Azaria,
Ron?
Ron,
Okay.
remind me to flag Ron later. He's fake news. I don't.
Take your shirt off and play Two Princes and dance.
Yeah,
There you go.
I mean that's this community. You guys, I don't know. I don't know words. I don't even know how to function in society anymore. I only know how to function here. And I
Yeah,
don't
how was your, when you went to the wedding, how was your
my,
fun?
my wedding was actually really well received. Um, I gave a best man toast, and um, people were saying things like, "That's how you give a best man toast," and I was just really happy about that because there were a lot of normies there, and I was trying really hard to like stay
Normal.
stay true to myself and not push things too far like I'm inclined to do, and recognize it's not my event, but try to do best by the people that I love dearly that were there. And I think I succeeded because people kept telling me I did a really good job. But I was like, I'm not, you know, I haven't sat here worried about anything that I said other than I'm tired and I'm like, I don't know if I was the most articulate I've ever been. But during this, I was like clenched up, just wanting to like do the best job for my friend. This is somebody I've known since 1992. But that's 26 years. This is one of my dearest buddies, my like soul brother, and I just wanted to do right by him and the woman he was marrying. And so it meant a lot to me that people said, you did a really good job. Um, that was awesome. But it's also,
Good.
it's exhausting because it's like, there's the meme of like Hillary Clinton where it's like, oh, it's so nice to get home and take off my human suit and just be a lizard. It's like I have that for like norminess. It's like, oh, it's so nice to get out of normie culture, take off my normie suit and just go back to uh, Captain Pal. Like um,
Yeah.
again, my name is Blair. Like it's nice to take off my Blair, normie interaction and then don my spirit name Agrode and fight for a better world. This is where I'm comfortable, and in those other spaces where I used to like champion and love it there, like I woke up to it causes harm. This is a much better environment, and the like legal fictions we all pretend to be isn't as good as the soul connections you can get as you declare peace and build community and create a different alternative. That's where my dreams and my values lie now, and it's hard to balance that with the need for non-internet friends and local buddies and people to play pool and swim with and play frisbee golf and get high and chill out and whatever else people do, go grocery shopping and barbecue and like
Oh yeah, it's incredibly hard to balance everything.
so I'm just doing my best there too. So
Yeah.
I hope you folks are entertained. It's nice to see an audience, and I hope you can appreciate some of what we're sharing about like going back and forth between kind of truth and spirituality and building this game. And if nothing else, I hope you hear I'm doing the best I can to create something that's worthy of the people here and worthy of this blockchain and worthy of the values of peace, abundance, and liberty. And uh, I try to live every day by that mission to the very best of my abilities. I got up at 6, going to bed at midnight, and I've been like fighting to stay awake, but also fighting to make something that is worthy of all of you.
Well, I'm excited about it.
What story do you look forward to telling? Like what voice do you feel like really ought to be heard here?
Well, I mean, when you first said that, the first I thought of my favorite card, the feral cat one. But as far as a story um, based on reality and working it and weaving it into the game,
Sure. What story would you tell for that feral cat? Like what morality? What's the backstory? How would you build values of peace, abundance, and liberty over? That's a common, so it gets 10 levels. It's probably going to have, it could have as many as 10 parts to its story. What's your character arc going to be for that cat so that it goes from whatever, just a cat living in the world, to one that is epically powerful, but also hopefully woke as fuck and a advocate for Pal.
the cat sees the struggle. He sees other cats struggling, and he wants to help them.
I mean,
He sees
that's
that
great.
through,
What's the struggle that he sees, and why is it important to that cat?
he sees that a lot of the cats are barely making ends meet, um, not even able to get food on the table sometimes for their family.
So what sacrifices is this cat going to make in order to help his community be fed and survive?
He's going to try to put forth a community effort with the other cats to, oh, this cat's a socialist. What is going on? Is that socialism? What the fuck? It's a socialist cat.
No, it's not. He's not taking resources from the other cats yet to go build roads. So I'm
No.
not. I'm not worried about him yet.
The cat's offering free college to the other cats.
fucking trolls everywhere. I love this place. I love this place. How does anybody live without this community? It just boggles my mind.
Socialist cats are the worst. Doesn't eat Cheez-Its out of trash cans.
Ron,
Oh,
this is going to be it's going to be a millennial cat, so it's like gender neutral, right. Post-gender, vegan, homeschool, like chemical
and it
free.
It wears like a furry costume, but it's a dog costume.
Yeah.
It really it identifies as a dog.
Yeah. There's so many places to take this. I like that backstory, but what you need is sort of like the cat goes the wrong way first. And so maybe the cat decides to like take resources from other groups rather than try to grow them locally. So maybe the cat starts by like, we have to, the universe teaches through deltas. And that means we learn best because we see two options and we see the differences between them. So at low levels, that cat is going to go steal food or create systems to like siphon food off and cause harm by doing that, and realize something like by taking resources from others, he has solved the problems for the cats, but then he's created suffering in other areas, and so that has to figure out a way then to reconcile that and say, I have immorally solved the problem one way, and in the course of this, I had to switch modes, and now we can meet the needs of everybody by those two communities working together. And that to me is the hope that's how we can like bridge this gap to show here is a failed approach. The cat's not horrible. shit goes wrong. Live radio fucks up all the time. But then through kind of dialogue and strategy changes, we get both of those communities functioning properly.
So instead of taking resources, working together and sharing the resources.
Yeah, I'm not, this is really early stage, but yeah, I mean, I ultimately think that a lot of this comes down to the concept of equilibrium, where there's not enough, and there gets to be these inefficiencies, and so it's like what there's an old parable of hell where everybody has straight arms and everybody is starving because they can't get food in their mouth. And the weirdest thing is that there's a parable of heaven where everybody has straight arms and they're all happy and everybody has food in their mouth, but only because they're feeding each other. And it's that shift of consciousness from taking care of self first to helping this community and making sure that others are okay too. We're going to find a way that when the cats and whatever culture they're going to interact with, when they start by just saying, oh look, there's all this food on these trees, and they take all that food and they feed all the cats, but then all the like rodents that lived off of that fruit start dying. And so they're going to have to like find some way to build an ecosystem and an economy where the cats get the fruit and they help these other animals plant new seeds or do this other thing so that they get what they need. But now it's a more complicated system, but everybody's needs are met other than simply shifting resources so that one group is fed and one group starves.
Awesome. I have my backstory.
So I'm looking forward to how you develop that. Does that sound engaging to you? Does this sound like a fun process?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
All right, we got like 2 minutes here, so I don't know. The Mao Zedong, yeah, Miao Zedong, yeah.
Yes.
I like it. I like it. Yeah, we can have socialist cats in here.
And we had other names. Was it an anarcho-catalyst? Soundwaves had that one.
Nice. Catalysm.
Yeah, so we have new character names.
You fucking
so it's
geniuses.
awesome.
I love it here. I don't want to ever leave. Don't make me go out in the real world, Azaria.
I know. Why do we have to leave?
All right, we got less than a minute. We're gonna go off air. Hey, look, I'm Aggro and I'm Witness 9 on the Steem blockchain. I created the Minnow Support project. I help run Steambot Tracker. I help run Steam Monsters. We're gonna build one of the coolest fucking things you could ever imagine, and Azaria is gonna help me do that through content, and you guys are gonna help me do that through content, and we're gonna build something amazing, and I can't wait to do it. Thank you for taking the time to listen to me sort of ramble while exhausted, but hopefully it was fun. You're all loved, and I feel blessed for gelling. Zaria, anything to add?
Have a great night. Love you guys.
No. All right, you've been listening to msp-waves Radio. I'm your host, Aggro. This was the Peace Academy. This is with Azaria. This was June 2nd, and it's been an absolute pleasure. Thanks so much.